So we have Frank Lilo. Somebody's phone is ringing.
Really?
Is it your phone?
Not mine.
Oh,
It might be a good idea for everybody to mute themselves until they have an opportunity to be involved.
yeah, go ahead and do that. All right, great. So we have Frank Lilo, the owner of Ferris Home Mortgage, which is our residential mortgage department. And he's going to say something later about his company. And we have Winchell. Wave to everybody, so this way we know who's who. Winchell's one of our newer agents. He's come to us from one of our prior agents we have already, which is Jabari, and maybe he's going to check in here with us soon. Jabari Campbell. And we have Reggie Fernandez, who's up in Canada. He's been an investor with our company now for many years, and he's been successful, and now we're taking it to the next level. Reggie's working on a partnership with our company to expand us out into Canada, so he's going to be busy. Then we have Paul Solomon. Paul's been with us now for about a year, maybe more, I forgot, but whatever. He's been here, and his background really is in healthcare and assisted living facilities, and he's a wealth of knowledge. So if you guys have any questions about that, you go to Paul, and he handles insurance and everything. So he runs circles around me in that area. Brian Hartman, who owns Ferris Funding Partners, and that's our commercial mortgages department. And if you guys have any kind of pre-qualifications or projects that need to be financed, you bring it straight over to Brian. And we have Indira Seville, who's she handles all the promotions and everything that you guys are going to need for branding and all of that, and she's going to tell you more about that later as well. And Michael Ciardi is an agent with us, and right now Mike actually is working on wrapping up a pretty big assisted living facility deal, and he's also got a piece of property not listed but in our preferred investor program for the development of an assisted living facility. Mike's been with us now for 2 months, and he was able to do that. And that's it. And I think I see, is that Rudy? It says Ellen Chakan, but I'm thinking it's Rudy.
Yeah, it's me.
Rudy, turn it up.
Yeah, it's my wife and I. We're here.
Okay, good. Rudy's the owner of Ferris Insurance Company, which handles all our insurance, and this is insurance in every area, and Rudy will be discussing that later as well when his slide comes up. And then we have one other one here that clicked in. It's a phone number, but I can't see who it is.
It's me, Benny. It's Marty Vidina.
Oh, okay, good. And then we have Marty. Marty's dabbling with the concept that he might join Crestcore, but after this, he won't be dabbling anymore. He'll just join. So, all right, guys, let's get on with it. Okay, so this presentation. Okay, so this presentation is an introduction not only to Crestcore International, but an introduction to all our sister companies. And every single company we have is a tool for the agents to get business and to use to actually close business. So the focus here, and just so you guys know, because you're getting insight into what we're doing, when we make this presentation, we usually put it out that Crestcore International is putting on a commercial training class for agents and or investors, and they show up and anticipating that they're going to learn some commercial tactics to enhance their business. But once they're here, we quickly show them all about Crestcore International and the Ferris organization, and by the end of the class, they always want to sign up because it's like Frank and I were discussing before, it's too compelling for them not to. We offer much more than any other company out there. So, but let's get into the program, and keep in mind this is a program that's going to introduce you to everything, but at the same time, this is going to be a presentation that you may be putting on one day. So think about it in that capacity as well. But thinking about it as we're approaching agents, the one problem that agents have out there, and it's a major problem, some of you are not agents, so you don't understand this yet, but if you get out there and you work in this business, it's extremely difficult for agents. And these are some of the complaints that they have. There's a lot of competition. They can't make money. There's not enough business. Everybody's wasting their time looking at stuff and not buying. It goes on forever. And it discourages agents, and very few stick in this business. So right now we have in the state of Florida a very discouraging number of agents, 250,000 licensed agents in the state of Florida. And in 2019 we had 32,000 sign up. So agents look at that and you say, holy cow, how can you do business out there with that kind of number? But if you guys are familiar with Pareto's principle, and I think the next slide would have that, you'll find out that 10% of the people.
Benny, your PowerPoint is not being shared on the screen.
Oh, hold on a minute, guys. Not a problem.
All we see is your face.
You don't like my face?
I'm saying I like your face, but I'd stare at you for 2 hours. It's going to be rough.
That's why Brian cut in real quick.
Please spare us.
Share. All right. All right, let me know what you see. What do you guys see?
Now it's working, Benny.
All right.
You got to hit play, though. See the whole screen.
All right, you ready?
There we go.
You see it? All right, beautiful. Sorry about that. All right, so we've been through this slide. This is just this, and this is the thing that I was telling you guys about the agents. They're not able to make money, and they complain. So we've been through that. And now we're talking about the numbers, the 250,000 agents in the state of Florida and the 32,000 that joined last year, okay, and just got their licenses. But we're going to talk about Pareto's principle. And who here can tell me about Pareto's principle? Probably somebody that hasn't contributed before. Anybody? Anybody here, Pareto?
No?
All right. Pareto was a guy back in the 1800s. I think it was the 1800s. Anyway, he figured out that 10% of the people do 90% of the business, and that's across the board. Okay, no matter what business it is. So anytime you see a big number, you can factor in that only 10% are actually doing the business. So with that, we're able to say that instead of 32,000 people, we now have 3,200. So we're chiseling down the number of competition, the number of competitive agents we have out there. The other thing is, if we also apply that, you got to figure that in real estate, that we're going to expect 75% of that 250,000 that we just seen to drop out. And actually, within the next 3 years, we can expect almost all of the newbies to drop out as well. And here's Pareto. I'm not sure that's what he looks like, but he's a nice Italian guy, all right? So anyway, 10% of the business is controlled, 90% of the business is controlled by 10% of the people. So you guys always keep that in mind, because we're always looking at the 10%. So whatever territory that we're working, we need to control 90% of that, and that's what we're working on. All right, so using Pareto's principle, in actuality, we have about 6,250 agents that we should be concerned with, and not really, because once again, Pareto's principle would kick in again. But I want to show you guys some of the business that's going on out there, and especially now that we have this COVID-19 problem. These are the sales in this handful of counties that I selected just to show you what's going on between January and May, all right? So we can't ever say there's no business happening. Hillsborough County had 10,663 residential sales in 5 months, all right? And folks, we haven't even hit the busy season yet, which is July. July is the busiest season, or the busiest month for residential sales. You're looking at other areas like Orange and Osceola County, 11,000, Pasco and Polk. And if we combine all this, we're looking at 51,520 sales within 5 months in just this small portion of counties that I hand selected, basically because it's in my backyard. So commercial agents, just so you know, out of all those agents, once again, 10%, 650. So we have about 650 commercial agents. This is just a guess on my part. Out of those, we can expect 10% of them to be doing any real business. The rest of them run around just like the residential agents, not doing any business. So, so there's your competition right there. So let's factor in the commercial deals between January and May. Look at that number, 8,473 commercial sales between January and May of 2020. That's a lot of sales, okay? What does that come to? Something like 8 per agent, something like that, which is a lot, and not every agent's doing the business, so a lot of them get more than that. And this is commercial deals in any capacity. I didn't break it down any further than that. It was strictly commercial sales within that time frame. So it still brings us to the question of getting the business. The agents still have a problem getting the business, and basically because they don't receive correct training, if they receive training at all, okay? And a lot of companies out there will say, oh yes, we provide training and all this stuff, but they don't really show the agents how to get the business, and that's where we come in. And that's us right there, okay? The commercial component of our company, Ferris Group, Crestmore International, Ferris Funding Partners, okay? Doesn't mean we don't have other components, but this is the commercial component. This is the controlling division. So what we offer agents, so any company that's out there, brokerage, they all offer listing, selling, sale, leasebacks, property management, leasing, all the conventional brokerage services. The one-stop shop companies offer a couple of more services. Usually they have a title company that tags along and becomes not part of their company, but at least associated with the company and a go-to. And financial arrangement, sometimes they have a good working relationship with mortgage company. But Crestcore comes in, and with our affiliate companies, we offer so much more, okay? We offer all these, and there's a lot more than this list. I just couldn't fit it all on the slide. But we have programs for residential agents and commercial agents, so they can actually perform and extend their business out. So if they can't get a listing, they can get the business in another way or form. So now we're going to come to something pretty exciting that we have that no other company has. And Frank Lilo came up with the term ecosystem, and we all loved it, or ecosystem. And basically, our ecosystem is all our businesses combined that offer real estate services, residential and commercial, financial, the same thing, residential and commercial, business, management, insurance, and title services. And Karen Lamolio is extremely busy. She's head of our title company, Savvy Title Company, but she couldn't be on today. She'll make a presentation later. So here it is. This is all the companies that we have, excluding Savvy, which isn't on this slide right now. These are the companies that are all in the ecosystem right there. And what we're going to do is we're going to have everybody that's part of this ecosystem make an introduction for their company. And I guess, Brian, you want to take Ferris Group?
Sure. So Ferris Group has been around since 2008, and basically it's set up as an outsourced executive management company. We offer outsourced executive management services in the form of 4 verticals. The first is finance management and bookkeeping for businesses. So we provide projections, we provide cash flow forecasting, and we do everything from simplistic bookkeeping services as well. We also have a full service marketing department, which is headed up by Indira and Joel, who are on the call with us today. And they're doing a fantastic job with our clients. And we also have a full-service HR department, which does everything from management training to policy manuals to full-service recruiting. And then lastly, we have an operations division where we could come in and make sure that any business, for example, like a manufacturing facility, is running as efficiently as possible. So any business or project that is going on out there that might need property management, for example, is another thing that's very big that we are doing. We have the ability to be their outsourced system until the company grows big enough to be able to bring it all in-house.
So that was Brian went over some of these right here. And this is just a brief introduction on the companies. Later, Brian and Chris and Frank and everybody, they're going to put on their own presentations. We're all inclusive of what the companies do. But one of the major things here is that an agent can now go to a seller, and a lot of times you'll find that property owners have businesses that may be struggling or underperforming, and yet they want to sell their business at a top dollar, and they can't, because a lot of times the price is pretty much based on the income that it's producing. So we have exit strategy planning. So our agents can actually say, hey, if you list your building with us, we'll have our company come in and restructure your business where it's making more money, and we'll be able to sell your building and business for a lot more money. So that's a great play, and that's a play that only we can offer. No other company has that. Brian, anything else on this?
No, I think the only other thing that I might have missed is that we also offer payroll processing and PEO services, which is something that Rudy, who's on the call with us, he is our expert in that area, in addition to doing the insurance services, which we'll talk about later.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, you're not done yet.
I'm not off the hook.
No, someone's got to talk about Ferris Funding Partners.
I love to talk about Ferris Funding Partners. So Ferris Funding Partners was established about 3 years ago. It's a commercial mortgage brokerage division. We handle everything from SBA lending to all the way up through hard money lending, and we do ground up construction loans. Pretty much anything that you might be looking at in the real estate world is something that we can potentially take a look at for financing. Right now, unfortunately, the lending arena is kind of sporadic. The coronavirus has created a lot of issues with the alternative lenders. Normally, what I like to say is that the reason that I actually established Ferris Funding Partners was to be able to have more flexibility and availability of what we can lend towards for customers. But many of the alternative lenders have actually put their lending on the back burner for the time being, for now, until things get a little bit more stabilized, which is beginning to happen. We're starting to see some of them begin to open up again. Hopefully we'll start to see some construction lending coming back to the table. The banks are still very skittish. Normally they're skittish as it is, but they're a little bit more conservative than usual. So what I'm telling everybody is the best thing we can do at this point is, if you have clients or projects that need financing, is let's have conversations. And this way we can kind of queue it up for when things start to open up again, which hopefully is going to be, I would say we're going to start to see some activity again in the month of June, and then July really will begin to open up, hopefully getting back to where we were prior to COVID-19. So happy to get on any conversation, any calls with you guys, Zoom meetings. Obviously, we're getting very good at those, and best thing we can do is once we know the scenario that we're looking at, then we can start to sink our teeth into it and figure out a structure that makes sense for that particular project. Also, something new that I want to mention is we've kind of extended Ferris Funding Partners and have established Ferris Credit Solutions. So I like to use the term pivot. You guys have probably heard that quite a bit. Businesses are pivoting and opening up different lines and things to be able to help get through this pandemic. And so now we are also offering personal credit repair services, but also this is going to be a really big thing going forward, business credit. We now have the ability to help entities establish business credit with no personal guarantees. Huge opportunity, guys, to be able to build. It could be a startup company. If we set up an entity today, we could start to build credit for them. It could be an existing business that where the business owners have good credit, but also want to establish business credit with no personal guarantees. Kind of gives them double the buying power that way. And then the third aspect is the business owners that might have bad credit that can't get approved for financing. We can walk them through the process to begin to get them business credit so they can get established lines of credit. And just to give you an idea of where it goes, within 6 to 12 months at a minimum, a business can have $50,000 or more in business credit without personal guarantees. It's something that 10% or less of the business industry, the owners actually even know is available out there. And it can really help kick off some projects. Eventually that continues to grow. And typically what you'll find is business credit lines that are offered through this process can be 10 to sometimes up to 100 times the amount of availability that people can get personally in revolving credit lines. So, and I love to use the example Walmart. Everybody knows Walmart. 80% of their product purchases are done through business credit. And they have more money that they use to put product on their floors through business credit than they do having shareholder investor funds. So just wrap your arms around that one. It's crazy, mind-boggling. So we can do this for small businesses and big businesses, and it's I think it's something that we should talk to every business about out there. Not just now because lending is so sporadic, but in general, I think it's a great service for us to be able to offer to many of our clients and investors. Real estate investors are actually using these funds to purchase real estate. So just keep that in mind as well.
Yeah, if you guys need more information on that, you just, you'll have Brian's information. You can contact him about that and other programs. I'm glad, hey, Brian, I'm glad you used the word sporadic, which is better than the last time. A month ago, funding was just about null and void. So now it's sporadic, which means it is coming back. And we need money, guys, and you got to get all your buyers pre-approved to our company before they can go out, and we got to make sure they're financially secure and able to purchase these properties that we're showing them. Believe it or not, there's a lot of buyers out there that'll tell you they are. The agents won't get them pre-qualified, and you won't find out until they go into contract that they have no money. So there's a lot of game playing out there, and that's one of the things we're here to make sure you don't see any of that. All right. And this is a couple of, these are some programs that are available through Ferris Funding Partners. And later, Brian actually gives a full class on all the loan programs we have. So this way you're completely aware of what we do have. And also you're going to be educated to get out there and sell these products. And we'll talk more about the referral system here in just a bit.
One thing, Benny, I just want to quickly mention, in the interim, while we're waiting for lending to really come back full blown, private money is still available. Obviously, it's going to be at higher rates, but that typically is short term. So even if you have a client that is looking to purchase, you want to sell a property and they need funding, private money is available. We can get them in short term and then look at flipping it into something with a better interest rate longer term when things start to open up again. Hard money is also available. So that and SBA is really what we're seeing out there at the moment. But that will continue to open up. So again, conversations. Let's just walk through and see if we can find something to fit as we go.
So just so you guys that don't know what hard money is, or private capital, we'll call it that, trying to get away from the hard money term. That's money that comes from private lenders, and it's usually extremely expensive. They usually charge a large amount of points, and points, by the way, is 1%. 1 point is 1% of the loan. So it could be expensive. They could go up to 5, 8 points, 10 points, very expensive. And the interest rate, what's the interest rates going for now, Brian, on a hard money loan?
For private money, you might be looking at 9%, but it could go all the way up to 12, 13%. And the points, at best, we'd probably be looking at 5 points on the low end, and it could go all the way up from there. But again, if it means making or breaking a deal, and the client really is on, really wants the deal, it's an interim kind of interest-only payment, so it's not as bad, even though the rate is higher. A lot of the fees for that can be included in the loan, so they don't have to pay it out of pocket. So again, it's just, let's walk through and see what this, the deal looks like, and come up with a plan for now and a plan for later, to get them out of the situation that they're starting with. So that way they don't have to miss out on the deal.
All right, that's and we'll get more into that later, because you guys are going to be whizzes at mortgage brokering as well. You're going to know all these programs and how to sell these programs. But just to show you guys, it's not all about commercial. We have a residential division, Ferris Home Mortgage, owned by Frank Lillo, and Frank handles all of that. Frank, you want to step in?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of things we can talk about, and we'll be doing more detailed presentations, as Benny mentioned, at another time. But just right now, I want to mention a couple of things, and that is, how can we help the real estate agents in general, and more specifically, the agents that are working as part of our ecosystem at Crestcore. And I'll just highlight a couple of quick things, and you can get back to me for more details, and or stay tuned for other presentations. But one of the critical things we can do from a residential standpoint, and Pete and Brian just mentioned you can do this at the commercial level as well, is we call it a lender certified pre-approval. And what that means is, if you're working with a residential buyer, obviously you want to make sure that you're not wasting your time with somebody who can't afford to get a loan or can't afford the size house that they want to buy. By recommending that they go through our LCA, we can actually get them underwritten at a lender and get a pre-approval that's only pending a property. So at that point, you've got a rock solid pre-approval that makes it easier to negotiate with the seller as well, because sellers are more reluctant to deal with buyers that are not paying cash, but most need a mortgage. So that's going to be helpful to you as an agent, is to identify the fact that for their benefit, as well as for yours, you can help them learn, and it doesn't cost them anything. You can help them learn exactly how much they do qualify for, what the expected monthly payments would be, etc. So it's a very informative and fact-finding mission from their perspective, and also once they're pre-approved, it helps you in terms of justifying your time and being able to negotiate a sale with them and for them. So that's one thing. The other thing we do that you won't find very commonly, you'll see on the slide here, it says reverse mortgages. Some people are familiar with reverse mortgages as it applies to taking money out of an existing house, and that is true. But today, real estate agents should realize there's a product called H for P, which is a HECM for purchase. HECM is a home equity conversion mortgage or reverse mortgage. And with a H for P, somebody who qualifies can buy a house and have no monthly payment. So as a real estate agent, that's either going to help you sell a higher priced house or be able to sell it at all. And I always use this example, and I'll tie it back together later, but if you've got a couple that's selling their house in New York, they're going to take away $500,000 and put it in their pocket and come to Florida. They want to buy a house here. Obviously, they could buy a house for around $500,000 cash if they want to spend all their money. They may not qualify for a traditional mortgage. They may not have enough income to justify a monthly payment for the type of house they want to buy, which is not uncommon. Or they can buy it using a reverse mortgage and pay about half down. So they could buy a $500,000 house, put down approximately $250,000, own the house, no mortgage payment, and take that other $250,000 and do whatever they want with it. And you can convince them that they could use the other $250,000 to buy a business, and there's where you get another commission. So the reverse mortgage is a very important tool to have in the toolkit. Also, I'll mention, you see on the screen, non-QM, non-qualified mortgages, is similar to what Brian was talking about on the commercial side. On the residential side, 1 to 4 units, you can actually buy up to a 4-unit building, like an apartment building or whatever, as a residential mortgage. But non-QM says that if the buyer falls outside of the typical Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and government guidelines, and there's a lot of people like that, we have lots of other programs for them where they can qualify using bank statements or using P&Ls and so forth, and tax returns. So don't ever let a buyer slip away without having them come to see me or Brian first, because they're doing themselves a disservice, and you add that value to them to say, look, you can go get this done, get this analysis done, find out where you stand, totally free. There's no cost on your part at all. So that's really important. Also, down payment assistance is big because we deal with some buyers that qualify just fine with their credit scores and their income. They don't have enough money in the bank to put down the minimum down payment. We've got down payment assistance programs that will literally give them bunches of money, in many cases as a grant, where they have to pay nothing back, in some cases as a very low interest or zero interest second mortgage. So that helps save a bunch of buyers that would have ended up walking away as well. And oh, by the way, as you run into people who are renting, you want to make sure that you talk to them about talking to us, because we may be able to show them how they can qualify to buy, and their mortgage payment might end up being equal to or even a little less than what their current rent payment is. Another thing I'll mention quickly is not on this slide. We participate in a program called Listing Booster. It's most applicable to residential listing agents, where we can promote your listings basically for free. But more importantly, in addition to promoting, we're also generating lots of leads as a result of the actions that we take using this Listing Booster product. And again, more details to come. We can't get into it all right now, but that's a tremendous advantage to all of our realtors, and it's free to the realtor. Technically, we'd have to charge you $1 a month to be compliant. So that's essentially free. And as I mentioned before, we can deal with investment property even on the residential mortgage side. So we can help with lots of types of loans based on income generation, debt service, whatever. So let me just stop and summarize this way, and that is, although we're very excited about all of the residential home mortgage products I've mentioned and many more, as it relates to you as realtors and real estate agents, and more importantly, as it relates to all of us within Faris Global Enterprises, which is all of these companies you're hearing about, basically, we all live in a world where we have lots of revenue stream opportunities, and that's what's so exciting about being part of the ecosystem. That is, as a real estate agent, you can earn money for referrals to business clients and to credit repair clients, etc. If you're a licensed loan officer, you can also earn credit referrals as you refer business within the mortgage company. If you have a real estate license and a loan officer license, you can be involved in one or both sides of a There's lots of opportunities, and it's very exciting. So I would close with this thought. When we're out in the community dealing with people all day long in various settings, etc., don't ever think of yourself as a real estate agent or a loan officer or a credit repair guy. We are basically all Farris ambassadors, and we bring a tremendous value to the table. Everybody out there, age 18 and older, needs at least one of the things that we have to offer. So our job is to find out what that is and talk to people, understand where they're coming from, where they are in life, where they are in business, what's on their mind. You'll find something that we can provide to them, and that'll be your value proposition and your revenue stream. So we'll talk more about all that stuff as time goes on. I'm done.
I think
Later on, we'll have Ferris Home Mortgage training classes for the residential agents that are interested in that. So just so you know,
can I interrupt for one quick second?
Okay, go ahead.
One other way that you might be able to work with Frank as well and keep in mind is if you have clients that may need a down payment money for purchasing a commercial property. They may have equity in a home, for example, or equity in a residential property that Frank can then go in and refinance potentially and pull out that cash so they can use it for your transaction so you could sell the property. Or if they're buying a property with you guys and they need a commercial mortgage and they need extra money for the down payment, then you can be looking at the real estate transaction, the commercial mortgage, and potentially if they need funds for the down payment, a third option would be the residential refi to get the money out that they need. So again, everything can be tied together and you could be potentially making money in every aspect of it. So just keep it in mind. I know that refis, Frank, are probably a little bit sporadic too, still at this point, but still an option that might be available, right?
Well, no, refis, especially on the conventional and FHA and government side, have all settled down. So we're good with refis. And take your example a step further. If you've got somebody who's 62 or older and they want to buy a business or buy some commercial real estate or whatever, if they get a reverse mortgage, they get the money tax-free. They have no mortgage payment, so they're not increasing their debt service. So there's all kinds of opportunities. So always never walk away, and always consider a quick con call with Brian and myself to do some brainstorming. You know, we'll find something that'll work.
Perfect.
Yeah, if you guys have questions, just feel free to call Brian or Frank at any time. And because there's a lot of information and there's so many programs, you may not be aware of something, but you might have a client that wants to get some, they want access to some funding. So this way they can purchase a business or a building. And there's ways to go about it with both of these companies, Ferris Home Mortgage and Ferris Funding Partners. So, but just be aware that these companies are here, very strong companies, and we're able to do a lot of business once we get our clients money, and it's all about the money. So, and the other thing I did want to stress is that we have, you know, primarily Crestcore is a commercial company. So, so then I want to explain a little bit as to why we are incorporating residential in there. Residential, we have, and this is for you guys, it's nothing that we share later down the road, okay, with everybody else. But our goal is to infiltrate the residential industry with commercial trained agents. Now, it doesn't mean that they're going to be operating as commercial agents, but every agent we have is trained in commercial as well as residential. So this way they have the commercial background, and our goal is to have them go into areas, you know, $500,000, $5 million homes, and convey to the potential clients and the listening that we have these programs available for them. So it does a couple of things. It gets the agent the listing because they're coming in with much more than any other agent is coming in with, and it also gets you guys more business. You'll be able to close deals once, you know, you have funding in place and all the other components. But let's move on. Ferris Practice. All right. So we spoke a little bit about Ferris Group before. So taking all the offerings of Ferris Group, and now basically we're bringing it over to the medical and healthcare industry. A lot of our business out there, some of our bigger business is in assisted living facility sales, medical practices, medical buildings, medical offices, independent living. This is huge business. So we are, I won't say the only company, but I'm pretty confident that we are, that actually has a full program that targets this area and has offerings specifically for this area. So one of the things that's very impressive is that all the things that we can bring from Ferris Group to our ALF owners, for instance, exit strategy planning. Right now we have some ALFs that we're going to be gaining control of here shortly, but right now they're underperforming. So we would be able to go in there and show them how to get that business up to where it needs to be so they can sell it. And this is a $25 million deal, just so you know. But right now the value is more around the $15 million area because business isn't performing the way it is. Wouldn't they love to have Ferris Practice come in and turn that business around so they can get to $25 million? So that's something that we can offer that no other company can. So Ferris Practice is in control of that is Tiffany Rodriguez. She couldn't be on with us today. She has some other obligations, but we would put you in touch with her and she would be able to explain all of this to you. And quite frankly, later on, we're going to have a full class. It's called AIM, and we'll get into that later, where Ferris Practice joins with that. And it shows you agents how to go out there and get the business in this industry. It's a very lucrative industry and a very well-respected industry as well. Let's move on to the next. Any questions on any of this? Everybody good? All right. So now we're going to surprise you. We actually have an insurance division. Rudy Chacon owns this. I guess Ellen is part owner too. I don't know how you guys split that, but this is our insurance company. So I'm going to let them come in and do a little presentation on their company. Rudy, you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you. And good morning to everybody. And yes, when you're married, remember 50% goes to your wife, right? No, basically, Ferris Insurance is a full line agency. We do on the business side and the personal side as well. PNC, which is property and casualty, home, auto, things of that nature. Commercial side as well. We do on the professional liability for doctors. We the medical malpractice, general liability. Personal wise, we can do He-Man insurance, life insurance, retirement plans, anything of that nature. So it's a brand new company. But we have all the appointments and all the market that we need, all A+ and A rated carriers. So that way we don't deal with anything else in that. It's a lot of times when the client needs insurance, they ask for A+ carriers, and that's exactly what we have. I wanted to speak a little bit more about the PEO, which is the Professional Employer Organization, and the ASO model, which is Administrative Services Only. And on a thumbnail sketch, the ASO model is exactly what it is. It's payroll and human resources. We have a white label product powered by a company called Congruity HR, which has their offices in North Carolina and in Florida. The Professional Employee Organization is called PEO. If anybody knows about that, you guys know that in Florida is like a mecca of these. I think there's like 950 of them in like a 25-mile radius. It's incredible. But it's a great model where you go in, basically a co-employer relationship, where you go into a business, you take their employees, and us as the employer of record. So we do the 940s, 941s for the employers, all the W-2s at the end of the year. We have workers' compensation that we give the employers at a discounted price. That's just economies of scale working at this point. Employee handbooks, all the HR services that you need, as much or as little as you want. And then also, the best part about the PEO is that the owner is basically insulated from any future claims, whether it be an unemployment claim or a workers' compensation claim. But they do maintain, I guess I hear this a lot, like, oh, they're your employees because they're leased. No, They're still the owner's employees. We do not go into your business and tell you how to, run your business or who to hire, who to fire, set wages, anything of that nature. We do help in all those cases on the human resource side and try to keep you out of a lawsuit. But we do insulate the business owners from things like that, any kind of future claims, and it works. It makes a lot of sense where the owner can concentrate on his or her business and let us concentrate on the non-productive tasks of the other side of the business, which is insurance and human resources and dealing with employees and things of that nature. So very simple stuff. We do, just so you know, on the benefit side for the employers, health, life, vision, dental, retirement plans, a full array of it. We go in and we have, like I said, we have all the carriers, so we make sure that where the business is located, we have the right carriers at the best premium. So, and that's it for my spiel, man. It's very simple. Insurance is insurance, but we definitely are happy to be part of this ecosystem. And I love what Frank said about being ambassadors or advocates, because it makes sense. It all goes, it's a full circle. Obviously, when you buy a home, you need insurance. You have a business, you need insurance. So it all comes back.
That's true. So for you agents out there, commercial or residential, that's going to be one of the first things they look for. In fact, in order to get funding, they have to be insured, so they got to get the insurance. So you just simply pass on Ferris Insurance Company and Rudy over to them, and he'll take you from there. So it's a very simple thing. Any questions? No? Okay, we're moving on. All right, Cresco International, commercial, residential, real estate. Basically, most of the agents that come in, this is what they're looking for. But we also have to introduce them to the other companies, and it's only going to benefit them. So how does all this work for the agent? Okay, so having all these companies at your access, you can do your listing, selling, leasing, property management, property market analysis, real estate consulting. All of these things work. And the commercial financing side, every single one of those components is related to the commercial financing, and every single one of those components is related to business brokering. And but here's what I want to emphasize to you guys that we didn't mention yet, is that you actually can obtain referral fees by bringing this business in. So it's not all just bringing the business in, but if you bring business into Brian and Ferris Funding Partners, and you close a deal, and Brian was the company, Ferris Funding Partners was the company responsible for closing the deal, you would receive a 20% referral fee, which could be a lot of money. Brian, tell them how much money that could be on a referral fee.
It depends on what the size of it is, but if you're talking about a $1 million deal, it's $20,000.
There you go, and that's $1 million deal. And by the way, guys, we're doing much larger deals than $1 million. So that's why it's very important that you push the commercial mortgage business that we have. Okay, so with all these companies at our disposal, we make it virtually impossible for a client to say no. So how does that work? Okay, because you're going to get a lot of no's out there. Right? When you go out there, everybody's ready to tell you no before you even open up your mouth. Right? So we don't like that. So this is a scenario right here that I put together to show you where most business begins and ends for the real estate agents. Would you like to list your property? No. Okay, great. Call me when you change your mind. End of story. That's it. Okay, so that's how most agents out there operate. Okay, but our agents have more to offer. So when you get that no, when you're going for a listing appointment, you simply turn things around. They're not going to want to list, but maybe they want a loan. All right, maybe they want to invest in another property. You have to remind them we have a lot of properties available, and a lot of them are good deals. Now, when you're giving them something they want, they're apt to be a little more compliant. And what you're going to want is their information, so you can get them on a mail list or email list, whatever you want to do. But they say no to that, but maybe they've owned the building now for 10 years and their note is coming due, and you might want to offer them some refinancing options. So they're most certainly going to be interested in talking to somebody about that. So you bring them right over to Brian, okay? Then, of course, maybe their business is underperforming, and you would talk to them about exit strategy planning, which they've never even heard that term before. But you're going to introduce them to that, and they're going to be interested. Everybody's going to be interested in how to get more money for their business. So by the time the agent leaves there, they may not get the listing right away. The listing would be coming because now you're gaining their confidence and keeping up communication. But you're going to get them to say yes to some other component that we're offering them. Any questions? All right. So a lot of people say, so what exactly is a Crespo International agent? All right. Well, with all that, you kind of figured out that we're kind of like superheroes, wouldn't you say? We coming in, we've got all the different superpowers that and by the way, guys, just so you know, I'm a big superhero fan. This is why this is coming to the slide. I don't know if you guys are. Anybody out there a superhero fan? There you go. Winchell. Frank is too. I see Joel. Now, Joel finally popped in, so he's out, and he's smiling for the first time, so he's a superhero fan too.
That's me.
So anyway, so why do I say that we're superheroes in the real estate business? Because we're able to smash through all the garbage business that's thrown at us out there and get right to the real business that's happening out there. And we learn more about that during our guerrilla warfare training. So you guys are going to learn a lot of secrets, all right? You're going to learn a lot of things the next couple of weeks. We're also able to gobble up more business in record time than other agents. While one agent's closing one deal, we're closing 5. We're also able to we're smart, like Batman. We're able to outmaneuver all our opponents. And by the way, our opponents would be other brokerages, other agents, but they would also be our clients, our sellers and our buyers too. This is a constant game of chess and checkers between us and them. All right, so some people might say, well, how is that benefiting your client? It is, and we'll get to that later. So there we are. All right. The Justice League of America. So when you guys get out there, we're superheroes and don't think anything less. But the biggest thing that we do, guys, with all these businesses at our disposal is we create business opportunities. All right. Now you've heard this before, but we really create business opportunities. We go into places where there's absolutely no business and we turn it into business. And one of the things we do, little secret that we do, is our investors, okay? We have a large database of pre-qualified investors looking for property. And this is why I tell you guys to go out and get the property, because if you bring back a property and it's fairly priced, not overpriced, but fairly, our investors are trained not to lowball, but to offer legitimate offers and close on the deals. And we have cash buyers that will close in 20 days. And these are big deals, $15, $20 million, things like that, big commissions. But one thing we do, just to give you a little example of creating business opportunities, we have these buyers and investors contracted with our company. So we go to a business owner and a property owner that isn't even thinking about selling at this time, all right? We target a property. We get a feel as to whether they're ready. For instance, maybe they've owned the building for 20 years. So we would approach them with an LOI, a letter of intent to purchase from one of our investors. So right there, if you would walk into that building or you meet with the owner and you say, hey, would you like to list your property? They may tell you no, and then you'll be on your way. Instead, we're coming to them with a letter of intent to purchase their property. Okay, we'll show you how to do that later. So at that point, everything changes. The seller might say, well, you know, I wasn't thinking about it, but look at this money you're offering. This is a good deal. I'm going to take it. We just created a business opportunity out of absolutely nothing. So that's what we do. So getting back to the commercial deals, 8,473 just in 5 months in the state of Florida. Well, what exactly does that mean? Let's talk about commissions. Everybody loves commissions, right? So we're going to take an average sale, $3 million, all right? $3 million for the sale price of a commercial property. Let's take an average commission, 3%. $90,000 is the commission on a $3 million deal, all right? Let's times that by the number of commercial deals out there. And some deals are 500,000, some deals are 15 and 20 million. So we'll use this figure. We have $762 million rounded. And we're going to take just 1% of that figure, and we've got $7,625,000. Okay, if we take 10 agents out of that and disperse that amongst 10 agents, each one of them would earn 732,000. Okay, now that's a large figure. That's exciting, but keep in mind that that's only on 5 months worth of business and 1% of the business. Think about that, guys. There's a lot of money to be made out there. Okay, so one of the things that I usually do when we're teaching this class in person at our Tampa office is we have a big, beautiful window out there, and that window shows Tampa. And it shows all these buildings and everything. And at this point, I would tell the agents to take a look out the window and see all these buildings. This is our inventory, all right? The beauty of being a real estate agent is we don't pay for that inventory. We don't have to have a building to store that inventory. It's just out there for us to sell. Our big job is to find a way to get in between the buyer and the seller and sell these properties. And it's not as complicated as a lot of agents think. It's not as easy either. You got to have the system of doing it, and that's what we work to put together. But let's talk about the residential sales. Remember that number, 51,520. So, and you know, we usually, when we have this class, this class we usually teach in person, and basically because it is a recruiting class, so we invite agents and others that might want to become part of this organization to see this. And usually we put on a little game called Lose Your Shirt. Brian, remember Lose Your Shirt? Frank? So we might say, what was the number that we presented before, 51,000, and whoever guesses it wins a prize. And the prizes are cheap, by the way, so don't think anybody's getting big bucks or anything. But I thought I'd throw that in for you. So with residential sales between January and May 2020, just in this small little group of counties that I hand selected, is 51,000. So looking at the residential agent, we'll just take a number, 350,000. Sometimes they make a 3% commission, sometimes they make a 5 or 6%, we say 4%. So $14,000 times that figure, 51,000, is $721 million. Take 1% of that, we're back at the 7,212,000 mark, and every agent on the residential end would earn $721,000. So agents might say, but wait a minute, when we look at the internet, we look it up, the average earnings of an agent is $39,000, and that's correct. That's a true figure. And it's all because the agents out there are not trained appropriately. So agents are trained to waste time, okay? Agents are trained to spend a lot of money on advertising. Back when I started this business, I blew thousands of dollars on useless advertising and promotions that didn't work. But you didn't know where to go, so you did the best you could. Agents are trained to get no respect. If you think because you're an agent or a broker that you're going to gain a whole bunch of respect when you pass out your business card, you're highly mistaken, because nobody out there respects agents, and you're going to find that out. So when you get out there, you're going to be manhandled by a bunch of superior investors and all these knowledgeable people that are looking at us like we're down here. But that's until that all ends once we start putting our proposition together for them. And once you learn how to take control of the situation. So we gain respect in a very short amount of time, probably within 10 minutes of speaking. So we'll talk more about that later. Agents are ultimately trained to do no business. That's how agents are trained. Sounds weird, but it's true, okay? They either do a no business, or the worst case scenario, they're trained to be one-hit wonders, guys. They do one sale, and then they're out. And anybody recognize anybody on this slide right here? Nobody?
Vanilli.
One-hit wonders for sure.
Which one did you pick, Joe?
Vanilla Ice.
Ice, baby.
Bottom right. I
Cyrus.
forgot their names. The
Well, we-
brothers.
We got friends in the low places too, or in the high places.
Achy breaky.
Well, you guys you just showed how old you are. I noticed none of the younger crew said, they're looking at this like, who are these guys?
Oh, that's funny.
Just for you younger guys, this is a whole assemblage of people that came out, had one great hit, and then disappeared, and we never seen them again. Some of them pop back out, like Vanilla Ice. I think he's got a show or something, and he'll disappear again after the show's done. But nonetheless, that's this. I got to get more one-hit wonders for the younger crowd. So agents out there, just so you guys know, they're all learned. This is what they learned: the conventional method of operating out there, networking, farming an area, email blasts, mass mailings, blogging, and all of this stuff that wastes everybody's time, and in particular their time. Most of this stuff is ignored by the public. So we don't want to be ignored. We have a much better system of promotions, and we'll get into that in a little bit too. But here's the deal, guys. Time is where an agent loses business, okay? An agent is notorious for wasting time, okay? But they're proud of it, because when you talk to, especially residential agents, well, I work 60 to 80 hours a week. I put into my business. I'm a hard worker, all right? This is what they'll tell you, and they're extremely proud of that number, all right? Well, first of all, you can't go on like that forever, 60 to 80 hours a week. And what I want to know is, what are you getting paid, not how many hours you're working. So if we're really working, if we're looking at that $39,000 figure that most agents are making, even if they're lucky they're making that, and we say they're working 60 hours a week, that's 3,120 hours a year, they're making $12.50 an hour. They don't even look at it that way, okay? And believe me, they are working 60 to 80 hours a week. But here's the other thing, we're not even factoring in the expenses. They're usually spending a lot of money on marketing, okay? And just to give you an example, I just was informed that there's a mortgage broker out there, not even a residential broker, okay? Mortgage broker out there that's spending $100,000 a year on leads, okay? And you know what they're getting for those leads? Zero. No, actually, I think they got two good leads out of all that money, so they're not making their money back. When I first got into this business, I learned, just like you guys are learning a lot of things now, but one of the ratios that were presented to me was 110 to 1, okay? And what this means is, for 100 contacts, 10% of them are going to be real, and I'm going to close one deal. Does that figure make any sense to anybody out there? All right? That right there is failure waiting to happen. And this is why they spend 80 hours a week on the phone, this and that. They don't know who's real. They can't figure it out. But they have got to go to 100 people to get to the 10 that are real so they can close one deal. And this was a residential figure that was given to me. So just think about it. What's a residential commission? You know, it's not even a $50,000 or $100,000 commission that a commercial agent can make. These guys are talking about $5,000 to $10,000 commissions, and then they got to split it with their broker. So they're not even making money for this kind of activity. But I took a good look at this number. I didn't agree with it. I never did. Of course, back in the day, I was green. But after years of experience, by the way, I've been in this for 21 years, I fine-tuned this ratio to 25-10 to 5, and quite frankly, I like it even better than this, but it's a reasonable ratio. So for every 25 contacts you have, 10 of them will be real, and we close 5 deals, all right? And through our system that we have, our mortgage broker divisions and stuff like that, we're able to get our clients pre-qualified and fine-tune them so we can do this kind of business. So the way we have it, the way we're structured, while other companies and other agents are closing one deal, we're able to close 4, okay? And some of you might say, hey, you know what? I don't want to work that hard. I just want to close one deal. And I say, good, then close one deal and relax for the rest of the year. That's it. You don't have to do 4 deals. You can do one and relax. But you're going to want to do 4 deals, 10 deals. You're going to get the bug. You're going to get it. And you're going to love this business just like the rest of us do. So any questions so far? No? All right. So qualified leads. All right. We have a large database of buyers, investors. They're pre-qualified through our company, so they're ready to go. So when we pre-qualify an investor, We get them financially qualified. They got to show proof of funds. They got to get a pre-qualification letter from a bank or a lender. They got to be ready to go, or else we're not even going to talk to them. So proof of funds right off the bat. But we take it one step further. When you guys
Excuse me,
get
Ben,
into business,
I had a
you-
question.
Oh, go ahead, Joe.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I had a question. I've
Yeah.
been getting the emails you've been sending over,
Mhm.
with like really, really amazing opportunities. Like and then I noticed that it's regionally. Like there was one that you sent over for an assisted living center project, not even like, done yet in this local area where there's funding opportunity and all these things available.
Mhm.
Are we allowed to individually take those, emails and like forward it ourselves or put it on our Facebook or send it to our network of people? And if so, in doing that, is there any way in which when somebody calls in, like let's say, well, how did you get our information? Or can we alter that document you made, like the Crest Corp document regarding that business opportunity, and say, hey, Joel is proud to present to you this opportunity with Crest Corp. You know what I mean? What are our limitations with that to kind of like, because those newsletters or those emails are very informative and they're very well done. I feel like if we kind of use our personal circle of influence collectively, we can kind of bring some business in, potentially generate.
Well, you're right about that, and one thing we do, we get a lot of compliments on our distribution to our investors. They love the investor reports and the financial projections that we put together. That listing that you're talking about, or that property, I should say, that's Michael Giardi's property. So if you have questions about that, you can speak to him. He'll be able to help you out with that. But regarding blasting our information out, we have not 90% of our business, guys, just so you all understand this, is off-market listings. And we have a program for that called the Preferred Investor Program. And we're going to go over that later and in much greater detail when we have the Preferred Investor Program session. But if we have a listed property, and it's literally an exclusive listing, go ahead and throw it out to anybody you want, okay? It can only bring us business. But if we have them, if it's not exclusive, and you got to clear this with the agent to make sure, it can't go out anywhere beyond our personal database of investors. We can get in trouble for that because it's not supposed to go out to the public. The other thing is you guys are going to find there's a lot of hinky-dink operations out there with agents grabbing stuff, cutting and pasting, cutting out Crest Corp, putting their name on it, and all this stuff. It's sloppy business, and it destroys our chances of selling it. And plus, it opens us up to a lawsuit if that thing hits us. So basically, just clear it with the agent to make sure it's a listing, and if it is, and get the agent's permission to get it out there, the more the better. And we're going to get to your section where you guys are going to be able to talk about this too. It's coming up. And that's about it. Any other questions on that?
No. The only thing I would recommend, if possible, maybe like a note at the bottom left-hand corner on those emails that say, this is an Crest Corp exclusive. Do not redistribute. You know what I mean? This way we know, because you might unintentionally just send it out to a friend and it's like, oh, I know, I've seen this listing. It's not really with you. I didn't realize that we could get fined for that. So that's good information.
Well, you're not going to get fined, but you can run into a bunch of mess, and we don't want that. Even with our off-market property, we try to present it in a very professional manner, and it almost looks actually just like you thought it was a listing. So our off-market property comes across as if it's a listing. The only thing we don't have is a listing agreement that binds to that. Yeah. So there's a lot of there's benefits to that. We put this program together because we do understand there's a large business in off-market property, much larger than listings. So we wanted to put that together. But there's rules and regulations. We'll go over that later. All right.
Any question from Reggie?
Yes, Reggie, go ahead.
So I'm just looking for item where is it like globally, or is it only based in Florida that you're looking at the listing, or is it across United States?
Well, right now, Cresco International, the real estate component of this, is exclusive to Florida. We are expanding into North Carolina and then eventually Canada. But right now the license is in, so we can only do real estate transactions in Florida. But the other components we have outside of Ferris Home Mortgage, that's anywhere. They can operate anywhere.
You mean the consultancy and all the management and business areas?
All of that.
Those are
Yep.
open Paris Group for everything.
Yeah, that's so you can take the insurance company, you can take the commercial mortgage, all of that is anywhere in the world. In fact, the business brokering, all of that. So it's just the real estate component for now is exclusive to Florida, but we're changing that. We're going to be expanding probably up and down the East Coast pretty rapidly, and then throughout the United States, and of course, we're now discussing Canada. So it's going to grow pretty rapidly, but we can only grow as we grab talent, and we're very fussy about who we're letting in right now. Okay, it can only be people that can function, that we trust. Other than that, so that's why it's a little slower moving right now, but it's going to be growing a little faster as the years go on. So, any other questions? Everybody good? All right. The other thing is properties. We have properties, but preferably we like our agents to go out and get properties. A lot of our agents are coming back, oh, I've got this great investor, and that's wonderful, except we've got so many investors that we'd rather get the properties. And the agent that gets out there and brings the properties in is the one that's going to be extremely happy. Investors, I hate to say this, are a dime a dozen. All right, we can get them all day long. All right, and they're all coming in because we're known for having the good properties, and they're extremely happy when we do business. Reggie actually is one of our investors, and he can attest to that. And because we've got Reggie, what have we closed? About 5 deals, maybe 6.
Yeah, approximately 5 deals. Yeah.
Yep. So every investor we haven't had a dissatisfied investor yet. Reggie, you're not dissatisfied, are you? I'm just.
No, I am very good.
All right, I want to clear that with you first.
We got through a lot of those things. Thanks.
And for those of you who don't know, Reggie right now is we're in discussions of expanding into Canada, and Reggie and his family and friends are going to be opening up Cresco International and Ferris organization companies throughout Canada. So they're our boss in the Canadian division. So, all right. So the other thing we've done, Cresco International, is we put together programs exclusive to our company, and these programs are all designed for the agent to do business. So we've discovered that everything you do out there has got to have a title if you want to be successful. So we have a preferred investor program. Basically, this is our off-market program that you guys are going to use to get everybody to sign up, and that's buyers and sellers. So there's 2 separate contracts or agreements that they sign, non-exclusive agreements, which means that they're going to sign it. Nobody likes exclusive listings, but they do like signing non-exclusive agreements. Basically, you bring in the property or the seller, whichever you bring, and you get the deal done and you get paid without any kind of exclusive arrangement. We also have programs for our residential sector, which is Quality Home Program, and our Simple System program, which is our our for sale by owner. Simple System is our for sale by owner program, and we're going to go over all that during our residential guerrilla warfare training session, which will be held within the next month or so. We'll put that one in with the guerrilla warfare training. All right, so what we have here, we have what we call our MAP Center. Okay, so MAP stands for Marketing, Advertising, and Promotions. This is something that's not offered to agents in any other company. This is agents that want to design and make a brand for themselves, and they want to market, they want to get themselves promotional items, and basically we have Joel and Indira that handle this section, and they have their own marketing company. They're gonna do their presentation right now and quickly go over this and show everybody what you can do. So whichever one of you two want to take it.
There, you jumping in, or you want me to go?
Don't get in trouble, Joel.
I know. All right, guys, It's a pleasure to meet you all. I'm really excited about this entire presentation today. I've been doing marketing for over 22, 23 years. We have a lot of capabilities in-house. We have text messaging, we have printing. We also have a strong emphasis on social media marketing and digital marketing. But what's really important about it is that we wrap it around a strategy. At the end of the day, we always say the same thing. The juice has to be worth the squeeze, right? And none of us have money to waste, so we look at every opportunity to try to get new business as a very, very serious one. So that is based on the fact that we do what's called quantifiable marketing. Every approach that we take, we try to make sure that it brings back return at a rate that's sustainable. Similar to how Benny was explaining, how many hours are you putting in and what are you getting out of it, right? It's the same thing with marketing. A lot of the times when people consider what has to be done with marketing, they're looking at these percentage rates and these mathematical equations. Oh, you'll get a 5% return, you'll get a 10% return. Marketing is math. Marketing is math if you're studying the right type of formulas, right? So every industry has its formula. In me saying that, I want you all to understand that the best marketing is one that's customized for you, for your region, for your area, for your technique, for your style. There are some agents that are like typers. They're not really networkers, right? They can go online and work a forum, but they can't walk into a public space. So we will work with you to create a marketing strategy that suits your style, okay? But that being said, we do have a couple of tidbits that we would recommend to all of you. For those who don't know, Indira Seville is my partner in life. And we did real estate and I did mortgages for about 10 years together in New York. And we were very successful. One summer we got over 35 listings. And there's a couple of tricks that you can do right now which are more important than ever. As real estate agents, I recommend that you purchase your domain name. So if your name is, I see Michael Ciardi, if I said that right, you should own michaelciardi.com and Michael Ciardi Realtor or Marcus Ciardi Estate Agent. .com. You should own that domain name because when you meet people in the street or if they reference your listing or if people are trying to find you, you don't want them to get to whatever Google decides to send them to, right? Having your own domain name will take them exactly where you want them to go. And doesn't mean you have to put a website up. You can forward it to your LinkedIn page. You can forward it to your Crestcorp page. You can forward it to whatever you want. But it's very important that you guys own your own domain name as a person and as an agent, okay? Another thing that I would highly recommend that you guys do is set up a single page landing page. You can do a free version with Wix. You can do a free version with Weebly. We can assist you with that as well. If you don't want to get too sophisticated, if you have budget limitations. But that goes a long way because if you do promote and market opportunities, you'd like to send people someplace to enter their name and email address so you can add them into some sort of ongoing marketing and mailing campaign. But we do have a lot of features available. And what we'll do is I'm sure Benny will send you guys all of our contact information. I'm the marketing director for Ferris Group. Indira is also part of the marketing team, but she's a head of video production. And she owns a company called Tico Studios that just does video production and video-based marketing. So we do the interior shots and video shots and drone shots of houses and commercial properties in this area. And if you want to get it done in a specific area where you guys are in Florida, we can help coordinate that on your behalf if Benny doesn't have somebody in a specific region already lined up. But that's basically it. From websites to pay-per-click to ClickFunnels to printing to text messaging, we can provide you guys with those services. But like I said, if you want to have a one-on-one, we'd love to have that session with you. Just reach out to us and we'll take it from there. Thank you.
Any questions for them? Come on, that's the most exciting part of this presentation. Let's go. Winchell, are you asleep over there? I see you.
No,
You don't have any-
I'm listening.
All right, just checking on you. All right, so here's the deal, guys. We do have this offered to you, and Joel was kind enough to give you that one tidbit of information. You should take it up immediately and get that in place. After this, Joel charged a tremendous amount of money, so you got your one freebie. No, he just talk to him. Don't worry about that. We're gonna work with you on everything here. So Crestcore provides, as Joel said before, we have our we give you guys a lot to get you going. Okay, so you'll get your stack of brochures and this and that. Basically, it's generic stuff. But when you want to fine tune it and brand yourself, then you're going to call Joe or Indira and start working on that. And you're going to need that eventually, okay? So the only rules we have is that when you're branding yourself, you're also branding Crestcore International. So it's all got to be, see, we're branding our company to help everybody, and that's very important. So we see a lot of promotions out there where the agents come in and you'll see, Laura Stiles, luxury home specialist, Caldwell banker. First of all, we can't do that anymore. They cut that out, so it's against the rules. But it's all going to be Crestcore International and your brand as well. So it'll be equal billing on that. So we'll work with you on that. The other thing is strategy. Okay, so you see a lot of our brochures and all this stuff. They're very exciting, and they always get a call. Okay, people are just they're just enthralled with all of the stuff that we have. But there's more to it. Okay, more to it than pretty colors and big logos and all that stuff. What it is that there's a strategy beyond every piece that's attached to every piece of marketing that we put out. Everything. So we're going to work on that as we go, and we're going to instruct you. So we work directly with them. So we'll pass their information on to you too. And also, just so you know, Indira is a Crestcore International agent as well. So, and they do have extensive real estate background. So without any further questions, we're moving on. Okay, so one other program we have that we're very proud of is the AIM program. So AIM basically is a key and a promotional method to get the people that are in get the clients that are in the healthcare and medical industry to do business with us. And this is on the real estate end. So we want to sell their practice. We want to sell their assisted living facility. We want to sell anything they have. Okay, their business, we can do that. But maybe they'll say, well, we're not ready to sell. We want to increase the business. We want to add HR to it. We need bookkeeping. That's when Ferris Practice comes in, and we would direct them over to Tiffany Rodriguez, who would take it from there. So, so when you're walking in, what does this do for the agent? It makes you look a little more professional than walking in and just saying, I can sell your business. Basically, you're saying we can handle your business, okay? The other thing is, too, we have a lot of clients. Most of our clients in the healthcare industry are purchasing ALFs, but they're already experienced. But what about the ones that don't have experience? The developers that can build, but they don't have experience in assisted living, and they don't know the first thing about it. So through Ferris Practice and through AIM, we're able to take them through that. And now what we have done is we just created more business. We've created a market, okay? So we take our apartment complex developer who doesn't know anything about assisted living developing and managing and business startups and all of that stuff. And we're able to direct them and instruct them to now take their development skills and now construct an assisted living facility that's functional. So we've gotten their business in that area where there was no business before, okay? So most agents out there are going straight to their people that have experience, and that's their market, 20%. But we're going to our apartment complex developers, our retail developers, whoever has development skills, and we're pulling them in and showing them how they can develop an assisted living facility, which quite frankly is more lucrative than any other development out there. Okay, so apartment complexes would not make the same return that an assisted living would, but we got to show them how to do it. So we've just created a business opportunity. A retirement plan. All right, guys. Commissions are great, right? Everybody loves their commissions, big money, and all of that stuff. The problem in real estate is that that's how an agent lives and breathes. Commissions, that's it. The money they earn, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good, okay? But is it. They're only as good as their last deal. And that was another thing that has always bothered me about the real estate world, besides that foolish, ratio that we discussed before, that we don't have a retirement plan, we don't have medical, we don't have anything except for the last commission we made. And there could come a day where there is no commission. And believe me, I have been through that. When the market crashed, I didn't see a commission for a very long time. All right. And part of the reason we have Cresco International and the Ferris organizations is because of the market crash. It made me realize that it was very weak to operate on a commission-to-commission basis. We have to get in there and restructure all of that. So one of the things is agents are trained to invest. Now, we're not forcing anybody to become an investor, but you're certainly going to have the skills to invest, and soon you're going to have the money to invest. So it's just a decision you'll have to make when the time comes, but you are fully prepared to invest. And therefore, you would have a retirement in place through investment opportunities. Reggie owns a string of mobile home parks. So Reggie he does work these mobile home parks. It's not easy, but Reggie has income coming in. So while Reggie's making commissions, he's hedging it with the income that's coming in through his mobile home parks. But on a $5 million deal, you got a happy agent over there. He's just made a $100,000 commission, okay? That's all fine and dandy, but let's take a look at the investor, okay? So the investor's got a bigger smile because his return on investment is 10%, which is fantastic. So on a $5 million deal, he's making $150,000 a year, all right? Sure, he took the risk. He put money into the place, and he took a risk, but he's getting a greater reward. The other thing you have to factor in is that the appreciation in a building or business goes up as the income goes up. So there's $160,000 annual appreciation as well. So when he sells this building, he's going to sell it for a lot more than what he purchased it for. So there's two ways that an investor makes income: appreciation and income revenue throughout the year. Any questions on this? Okay. So basically, this strategy here is to set you guys up so you have a retirement plan in place, which is this. And later we'll show you how you can take your investments and put them into an IRA if you want to. So then this way, you're all set for your future. Your future is very important. It's not just what you're making now. Your future is extremely important. When you guys get old, you're going to want to make sure, and you don't want to do the real estate business anymore. You want to make sure you have an income coming in. So how do you invest? Well, an agent can be solo and invest on their own, or they can partner. They can partner with another agent. They can partner with their clients. We're already in discussions right now. I am with some other clients of investing in some property in the future, but right now we're kind of focusing on this. So probably next year that's going to start. Or you can invest with Cresco International and any one of our associates. So we'll all have the capital put in. So an agent is the first one to come upon a deal. So let's say an agent comes upon a $5 million apartment complex. The seller wants out. Maybe he's got a year to live and he just wants to get out, and he's going to sell it for $4 million. All right. So we would be able to go in and take advantage of that if we wanted to, instead of selling it and just making a commission, or maybe selling it, making a commission, and partnering with the client that you bring in. There's so many opportunities out there, and we're going to make sure every agent is fully prepared to take advantage of that. Agent commissions, all right? This is another thing that sets us apart from other commercial companies and residential for that, okay? So here's another thorn that I've always had about commercial commissions, okay? So you go out, you sign up with a company, Marcus and Millichap, Caldwell Bank or whatever, as a commercial agent, and your commission split is 50-50, all right? 50-50, and that goes on for many years. One guy I know, and he's not part of our company and will not be. I like the guy, he's a friend of mine, but he doesn't have what it takes. He signed up, I think it was with Marcus and Millichap, and they kept him at 50-50 for 6 years before they moved him to a 40-60, okay? And he's probably still at 40-60. So desperate agents would take that. On a residential end, when you're green, you come out, you got your license, it's usually a 50-50 split. within a year or two, they bump you up to 40-60. Some companies offer 70-30, some 80-20. Coldwell Banker goes up to 80-20, and then they cut it right there, and you can't go any further. Remax goes up to 95%, but they have very high monthly fees, make it almost not affordable to take them up on that good commission split. And then, of course, we have one other company out there now that seems to grab a lot of residential agents' attention, and that's the 100% commission companies. They offer you 100% commission, which is wonderful. So you sell a property, you keep 100% commission, you pay a small transaction fee and a small monthly fee. Very good business, you know. So what we put together is what we call a lateral platform compensation plan, all right? So this is to help the agents maximize their earnings, promote agent growth, and assist in team structuring. Team structuring we're going to talk about later, but a quick synopsis is agents are trained to produce teams of agents. So you're going to have your lead agent, and then you're going to have your members. And the purpose of that, really the only purpose of that, is that once they have a good functioning team in place, we would approach that agent and start talking about opening up another office and moving that agent, turning them into a broker, and then having their new office set up as a partnership arrangement. And then immediately they have agents. So they don't have to promote or market to get agents in, recruiting, this and that, which is extremely tough. I think Paul Solomon can tell you how tough that is, because he's owned 2 companies before. Isn't that right, Paul?
Wait, you just woke me up. Sorry.
Oh, by the way, Paul's taken this class 5 times already. I don't know why he keeps submitting himself to this torture, but while you're here, you want to tell him how tough it is to recruit agents?
Yeah, I owned a Remax office, and then we closed that office because of Remax itself, and then rolled that into an exit realty office. And different times of real estate over the last 20 years, and it was very interesting to the point where I decided to, in 2007, 2008, give it up and give it to my partner. And between recruiting, they're all prima donnas. They want the high splits, and then they don't want to do any of the work. The contracts used to come in wrong, not filled out correctly, and that left me as the broker with a lot of headache. So wasn't fun.
Mm-hmm. So our recruiting strategy, and this is why we're moving, we're not recruiting in any kind of high performance mode right now. We're hand selecting people who come in because I don't want to do everybody's contract for them. I got too many things going on. When we have a broker that has their office, they're not going to want to do everybody's contract. So we need to capture the attention of real business people that can do their hold their own. Now, in the beginning, we don't mind. We have a lot of mentorship, and I provide a lot of that to our agents. They call me all the time. India, who's not on today, she likes to call at night, and I take the call, and we go over a lot of things. And some other agents call, and this is just how we do business for now. But eventually, all the agents should be up there doing their own business, not calling me and just closing deals. And that's how they're trained through us. And that usually takes anywhere between 3 to 6 months. So our lateral platform compensation program, we offer 5 structures: the mentorship, the business, the executive, the professional, and the bonus plan. Okay, so we're going to go over some of these. So the business plan, which is now these plans are for both commercial and residential, but we're going to go over the mentorship program, which describes one last thing that's extremely beneficial to our newer agents coming in. But this is basically a 70-30 split, okay? 70% for the agent and 30% for Cresco International. There's a $295 a month membership fee and a $295 transaction fee that goes along with that. Now, that's for business that the agent brings in, the agent handles. Nobody's doing their contracts for them or going out and meeting their clients because they don't know what to do and all that. This is for the up and running agent. By that time, they choose one of these plans. Now let's say a client is procured through Cresco International. That means it's either one of our businesses that we brought in or properties, or we provide a client or an investor that purchases a business or building that the agent's brought in. Well, then it's a 60-40 split, 60 for the agent, 40% for Cresco. The reason we have this is because we want the agents to do their own business, okay? So the fact that they'll have to pay an extra 10% in this plan is enough for them to go out and get their own buyers and sellers and close deals. But since we have the investors at hand and the properties, we don't mind working with the agents on that as well. So 60-40, which is still better than what Marcus and Millichap is offering when you're coming in for the first 6 years. So, but get your own business. The executive plan, so now the agents doing a little better. You know, they got a lot of listings, a lot of properties sold, and they decide, you know what, I want to do an 80-20 split and make a little more money for themselves. Well, now in exchange for the 10% bump that they're getting, we get a $100 a month bump and a $100 per transaction fee bump as well. And of course, the procurement through Cresco is a 60-40 split. So let's say the agent's doing even better and they decide, you know what, I'm closing $500 million a year. I think I want to keep 90% of this. And then we're glad to oblige them on that too. And we only bump it up one more $100 per month. And just so you guys know, these fees seem a little high because some of you are like, whoa, that's a lot of money. But none of these fees kick in until you close your first deal anyway. So you're not paying anything up until that point. The other thing is, if you go to RE/MAX, and Paul might be able to tell you this too, because the RE/MAX that I was with, I think I was with 4 companies before I opened up Cresco. They'll charge you, I think it was $2,200 or more a month for the privilege of having a 95% deal. Paul, what was RE/MAX charging?
You know, it was all over the place because when we built out our office, which we spent way too much money to build out our office, I mean, you could rent a desk for $500 to an office for $1,500 to a double office for like $3,000 a month, and that's it. You weren't really getting anything else from us. Any other marketing and everything else you were paying, the agents were paying themselves. So we were in the rental business, the leasing business more than anything else. I had to continue to keep selling, otherwise we wouldn't have made any money.
Yeah, and there it is. That's a problem for the broker that owns RE/MAX office. And for the agents, it could be a problem if they're not closing deals and they got to shell out $2,200 a month. You know, so not a great plan unless we structure a plan for them to do business. Then it makes sense. But we are trying to be competitive, so we do have a bonus plan. And right now, these fees are $595 for a 95% split. So that's probably going to change. A lot of these fees are going to change later for future agents coming in. As the company grows, they're not going to get as generous commission splits and stuff like that. So this one we'll probably get rid of. But right now, you guys have access to it. But right now, you don't need it because you're not doing business. So don't even worry about it. But this will be a 95% split, $595 membership fee, and $595 transaction fee. So. But here's really, so just to show you guys, we're going to go over how this commission works and how it benefits the agent. So this actually is a mobile home park that our company sold, about 2 years ago. I like to use this one because I don't feel like changing it to another deal. But it sold for $3.1 million. The commission was 3.5, so the commission was $108,000, okay, on this deal. So let's apply that to the business plan, executive plan, professional plan, and a bonus plan. So if the agent chose the business plan, which is a 70-30 split, their compensation would have been $75,950 minus the transaction fee, which would give them a complete earning of $75,655. That sounds good. It is good. But if they had been in the executive plan, their commission would have went up to $86,000, earning them $10,000 more. If they switch over to the professional plan, they would earn $21,000 more. And if they switched over to the bonus plan, they would have earned $26,000 more. Now, keep in mind, each time they go up, it's costing them just $100 to earn this more money. Now, I didn't put the monthly fee in this because whatever it is, it's really insignificant compared to the commissions that you guys are earning. But nobody says you have to increment it either. You can go from the business plan all the way over to the bonus plan. You can go from the executive plan to the professional plan. You can go to the professional plan back to the business plan if business is starting to tank. The only thing you can't do is switch the deals that are already in a plan. So if you've got a string of listings in the executive plan and all of a sudden you say, well, geez, I got 10 listings. I think I'll switch over to the bonus plan real quick. It doesn't work that way. Whatever listings and investors you have that you have acquired during the executive plan, they stay in that plan until everything's closed. So, but here's the mentorship program. This is the 100% commission to the agents. So we recruit residential agents coming in, and we understand that they're offered 100% commissions in other companies. So we offer them that too on the residential side. So if an agent comes to us and they're a residential agent and they want to learn commercial, but at the same time they're coming in and they want to continue on with their residential business, we promote that heavily. In fact, we give them training so they can enhance their residential business. And the programs we have are fabulous to help them do that. But they get to keep 100% minus $100 membership fee and a $295 transaction fee per closing. That's it. That's it, and they get to keep the rest of it. So the $100 membership fee doesn't kick in until they close their first deal. So basically, they're getting all this training and everything that we provide for them, brochures and all this kind of stuff, for free, up until they close their first deal, and then they have to start paying $100. Now, here's the caveat. If they get into the commercial business, it's a 50-50 split at that point, all right? So let's say they're closing 10 residential deals every year, but they stumble upon a nice $5 million hotel that wants to sell and list with them. Well, now they got to pay 50% of the commission to Crestcore. And they don't mind doing that, but there's going to come a point in time where they're going to see that there's much higher commissions on the commercial side. And sooner or later, they're going to have to make a commitment and switch over and either be one or the other. And something for you guys, just so you know, when you get out there and you start talking about residential and commercial to your clients, okay? So our residential agents are instructed to do this. They're instructed to go to their luxury homes that they want to list and let their clients know that we're also a commercial company with beautiful investment opportunities with great returns. And they're even going to leave them a package that has all our commercial business in there, okay? So they're, in the seller's eyes, that agent just went from here to here. There's a little bit of clout in being a commercial agent, maybe a lot of clout when you're coming in, okay? So they still want you to focus on the house, but man, you know commercial business. And we also promote the fact that we take our commercial skills and apply them to residential sales. So this way they feel that they're getting something special, and they really are, because we use some of the tactics we use in commercial real estate and apply them to residential. But on the other hand, don't ever go to a commercial client and try to impress them with the fact that you're also a residential agent too, because now you just went from here to here in their eyes. Commercial investors don't look with any kind of respect at a residential agent. So you just cut that conversation out completely. When you're speaking to a commercial investor, you're going to keep it there, and that's it. So the other thing with this, the agent decides when they're going to switch programs. We don't tell them. So this can go on indefinitely. The agent can come with us, and they can sell residential all day long and stay there for 10 years, 20 years, it doesn't matter to us, and keep going with this program. So any questions on this? Any questions on the commission structure? Anybody? Now remember, you guys are going to have to learn this pretty good, because one day, and it won't be soon, you got to get your own deals under your belt first. You might be teaching the same class and you might be signing up agents, and you're going to have to explain all of this to them. But let's show you how this works. So I took Hillsborough County, 2019. There was 231 residential sales just on 4-bedroom, 2-bath homes built after 2010. All of them had a pool. None of them were short sales or REOs. The average sale price, believe it or not, was $616,000, and the median sales price was $498,000. So taking those two figures and averaging them out, I came up with $560,000 as a sale price across the board. Some homes sell for $100,000, some sell for $20 million, but 560 is a good place to be. So you're a residential agent, you're part of the mentorship program, and we want to see what kind of money you can make in that kind of program. So let's just say 560 sale price, average 4% commission. You're a residential agent full-time. Let's hope you can at least do 8 deals like that a year. And the commission would be $179,000. That would be your earned commission. The only thing you would pay Crescore is 8 times $295, the transaction fee. So minus $2,360, you just made $164,000 on your residential sales. But let's say while you're out there, you stumbled upon commercial deals, and maybe each one was $1.5 million. You negotiated 3% commission, $45,000. You did 3 of those. Crescore would get 50% of that, and you just made an additional $67,000 out of that. And you notice we don't take out any transaction fee right there. It's just strictly 50-50 deal. So now all of a sudden you decide you're going to refer the business over to an agent that knows what they're doing in commercial, because now the deal just got bigger. It's $2.5 million. You're not confident that you have the ability to do it. Much better to refer it over to an agent who's going to pay you 20%. So it's 20% of the full commission the agent earns minus 50% for Crescore, okay? So there's a 3% commission there, $75,000 times 3, $225,000 earned commission. 20% is 45, and then 50% of that is 22. So at the end of the year, if all of this goes the way we just portrayed it, the agent would have earned $245,000. All right, not a bad payday. Commercial agents can earn a lot more than that. So the purpose of this is to get the agents to kind of leave residential and come on over to the commercial side. But once again, they got to be good. So we want them to be good. We don't want to be doing their contracts for them, and we don't want to be holding their hands through every deal. We don't mind that in the beginning. Every agent needs that. And by the way, just so you know, in 21 years of doing this, and I belong to Remax, ERA, Polo, ERA, Robertson, and Caldwell Banker, all great companies. Oh, and Signature Realty too, which is a local company that does 100% commission here in Tampa. All great companies. Not one of them, though, except for Signature, that gave it a half-hearted effort, gave any kind of training at all. You just didn't get any training. So everything I learned, I hit the streets. Most agents, when they join, they get their license, they're all happy. They join the company, and they're real excited because they get all these letters indicating, we want you to join our company, and they feel special, like, oh my God, everybody wants me. The truth is, brokerages just want anybody. So this way, they figure if they can close 20 or 30% on the agents, they're making some money. So it's a numbers game for them. For us, it's not a numbers game, it's a talent game. So, but basically, agents come into the business, they get their license, they're handed a box of cards, and they're told, go get the business. And when you bring it back, it's 50-50. So that's basically how it works. So we wash all that away, and we have a much better proposition for agents coming on board with us. Recruiting. Okay, so our recruiting procedures, we call it opening the books, all right? So we don't recruit all year long. And I explained that to some. In fact, Winchell and I had this discussion already. We recruit when we feel like we're ready. So when we get a batch of agents, 5 or 10 or whatever, we focus 100% on those agents, getting them up to speed. They got to know a lot of things. There's a lot we're teaching them, and it's not all just real estate, okay? So we don't have time for 1,000 agents. We wouldn't be able to do that, okay? Later we will, but for now we don't. So we called it opening up the books, and we bring in agents, we hand select them, and we might do this every 3 or 4 months. And we might throw a promo out there that invites agents to attend this particular class. And then after class, we sort through who we want and who's not going to work out. And Brian can tell you, Brian Stallone, he may not be, that we have rejected quite a few agents that tried to come on board with us. A lot of them were residential, and a lot of them were top selling residential agents, but they just didn't have what it takes. And we can figure that out pretty quick before we take them on. But here's the deal. We will work with other companies, all right? Being as we have a small group of very talented agents, it's good for our agents to reach out to other agents at times. Paul's doing this right now with some agents. He's getting his feelings hurt on some of them because those agents have no talent. But nonetheless, we will work with other agents. We call them affiliates, all right? And these agents are coming in, and they don't have any idea of how to get the business, except they might have one listing or one property that could be valuable. And they'll bring it to us, and we will help them sell it. And of course, their brokerage would receive a commission on that. And that's good because that's a property they wouldn't have sold. And guys, let me tell you something. When you see these properties out there on LoopNet, on the MLS, or wherever you see them, okay, the reason they're on LoopNet or the MLS or anywhere is because they're overpriced, all right? Any seller out there that prices their property appropriately wouldn't even need a real estate company, all right? They could simply sell it on their own. But they don't know that, so they overprice everything, hoping that the agents can come in and do something for them. So when you see these overpriced listings, take a good look and see how long they've been on the market. So even if they're listed with another company or with our affiliates over here, those affiliates can't sell it. And within 3 months, 2 months maybe, the affiliates have lost interest in the property. So they might have a 6-month listing, but they quit after 2 months. Their seller wants $5 million for their $3 million hotel. There's no way it's going to happen, so why should I put any more time into it? And that's how it works. But that seller might really want to sell and might be playing games where that agent doesn't understand that, but we do. So what we do is we look for those listings that have been on the market for 3 or 4 months. They're overpriced, and it's time for them to see an offer, and we've sold lots of property like that. We've kept our eyes on the target, waited for the moment, and came in with an offer. So even though it was still listed at $5 million, we came in with the $3 million offer. After 4 months, the seller had enough. They're ready to take the $3 million, and you just earned yourself a commission. Any questions on this? Everybody good? All right.
Good.
We're trying to get through this. We're almost done, by the way. All right, so what's our mission and goal for our agents, all right? So here's a little background. Just so you guys know, in the 1980s, I was in the Marine Corps. I was an MP in the Marine Corps. When I got out, I was a police officer. All combined, I had about 14, 15 years in law enforcement and 4 years in the Marine Corps. So I'm always going to be talking about the Marines, all right? But in our armed forces, armed services that we have in the United States, you have the elite groups. So the elite groups are usually indicated as the Marine Corps, SEALs, Special Forces, and the Air Force Special Operations Division, which not too many people have heard of, but they're really a great division. And each one of these elite groups are elite because each one of them has a mission, okay? So the SEALs have gotten all the publicity within the last few years, and the SEALs are underwater demolitions team. They do other things. You've seen what they've done. You've heard the stories, and there's been movies on the SEALs. But basically, their special offering is underwater demolitions, and that's what they do. Special Forces, a lot of people just know them as killing machines because they're Green Berets and all these stories you heard. But their true mission is to go in and train villages and people on how to become organized military structures. And that's what they do. And these guys, actually, a lot of them are physicians because you need doctors in there. So they're actually medical doctors that become Special Forces operators. We've done training with these guys, and they are no nonsense when I was in the Marine Corps. Very, very respectable group. Haven't had any dealings with the Air Force group, but But what their mission is to protect Air Force bases and installations around the world, and they're very good at what they do. The Marine Corps, you guys must know, is that their mission is to be the first to go. So when something breaks out, the Marines are sent in first. And basically, they go in as a disruption machine to pave the path for the other groups to come in, the Army, the Air Force, and all of that. And that's what the Marine Corps does. So they're always prepared to go at a moment's notice. And we need that. So therefore, they're a smaller organization than the rest. I don't know how many there are now, but when I was in there was only 190,000 compared to 1 million Army personnel that we had. But what you guys don't know is that this is all the elite group, and a group you never heard of comes out of the Marine Corps, and they're called the Force Recon. Has anybody heard of Force Recon?
Yeah,
Who's heard of Force Recon?
Marty.
Marty, what do they do? What's their specialty?
Well, I mean, I heard about them. I spent time in the Navy. My brother's an SF operative, but I've had friends in the Marine Corps. But I mean, I don't know all the background, but I've heard about Force Recon.
All right. Force Recon is a secret division of the Marine Corps. Not a secret. They're not trying to keep it a secret, but not too many people know about it. They're considered the elite of the elite. So the Marine Corps was the elite. The other groups are the elite. These guys are the elite of the elite. And the reason being, their mission is to be dropped into or beyond enemy lines and spy. So they could be dropped into an area. They've got to be able to survive in the wilderness all on their own with whatever's given to them when they land. And they have to spy and report and hopefully get out alive. Extreme talent to do this. I can't even tell you, I was a Marine, I couldn't do this, all right? So these guys are the elite of the elite. So when we apply this to real estate, we got to look at the elite of the elite and elite. So in real estate, we have companies like Coldwell Banker, Remax, Century 21, very familiar companies to the public. They're pretty much the best of the best, all right? If we're going to compare them to Joe's real estate company and Margaret's real estate company, the mom and pop places, these guys are definitely above that, all right? And they're the best of the best. But if we're going into commercial, we have our elite companies. We have CB Richard Ellis, Jones Lang LaSalle. These guys are the best in their commercial area, and they're certainly well above any of the companies that are part of the best and the best. So you can look them up. Their annual incomes are significant. The sales they close are amazing and all of that. But Crestcore International is the elite of the elite. We are the Force Recon of the rest. So we're not a big company yet, all right? We're a small division, just like the Marine Corps. Very small, but very elite. But we're very well organized, and we're very talented at what we do. So the amount of business that we do, pound for pound, is greater than what the other companies do. So this is how we consider ourselves. This is how you should consider yourself. And one other thing I do want to stress is that we use the word agent here because that's a word that we use when we're describing real estate. Okay, but we never consider ourselves agents, all right? We are businessmen and women, business people, however you want to put it, and we're just as good as any investor that comes to us, or any business owner, or any property owner. We are just as good as they are. In fact, we are better than they are, okay? Because within 10 minutes, we're controlling the show. When we walk into a meeting, we shift things real quick, and we control everything that goes on there, all right? So we are the elite of the elite. And our mission for you guys is to start you off as agents. Eventually, we want you to become associates. So what is an associate? Associate is an agent that takes part in another branch of our company. So maybe an agent becomes a mortgage broker with Ferris Funding Partners, or maybe Ferris Home Mortgage, or maybe they become an employee and work alongside Chris Morhart and the rest of them on the Ferris Group side. Whatever it is, once they acquire another component, they add it, they become an associate. So now they're no longer an agent. So now they truly are a business person. From there, we would like to create investors. So we're going to have investment opportunities. We're going to work on that. And we are going to have classes on investors. So they can take that path, or they can become a broker owner of their own company and ultimately a partner of Cresco International and the Ferris organization. That is it. Any questions? None at all.
Thank you, Benny.
Great job as always, Benny.
All right.
Benny, are you hearing my audio?
I am hearing you. I can see you
All right,
now
great.
too.
Great, thanks. Thanks a lot for a very informative session. Appreciate it.
Benny,
Yeah.
I have a
Benny,
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
No problem, Mike. Somebody else was saying something.
This is Reggie.
Reggie, what's up?
Okay, so it is a holistic view of everything that you're having, like different services, finance, business, and all that, right? Now, what is your next step of training and bringing in agents and all work in a scenario like this?
All right, so how we usually do it, this is I explained, this is our recruiting class. This is the one we put on when we're bringing agents in, then we hand select who's coming in. Once they're in, they have to go through a mandatory guerrilla warfare training, all right? These I like to do in person, but we can't right now, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna do these over the internet just like we're doing right now. So next week starts Guerrilla Warfare Part 1. Okay, another 2-hour class that we're putting on. And by the way, when we do the guerrilla warfare training, it's a 3-day event, and it goes 1, 2, 3. So, and I do that on purpose because if you can't do 3 days, if it's too much for you, or you can't show up for these, it's a way for me to determine your motivation level and if we're keeping you or not. Okay. So you got to be able to, you got to be highly motivated in this thing. We're teaching you guys something good. We're putting in the time. We expect the future agents to put in the time as well. And if they don't have the time, we don't have the time for them either. So it's another method of testing them out to see if they have what it takes. But it's extremely informative. Now I'm going to tell you guys something about guerrilla warfare. The reason why we call it guerrilla warfare is because it's unconventional tactics. You guys go out there and you're going to be taught all this nonsense that's going to prevent you from doing business. And we come in and we teach you completely the opposite. That shows you exactly how to get the business. All right. We don't have time for all the formalities that the Florida Real Estate Commission and all these, they're trying to protect themselves constantly. And one thing, we never do anything illegal or immoral. We are highly ethical company. Reggie, we've done business for 5 years now, and Reggie can tell you that there's nothing unethical about what we do. Everything's on the up and up. But we don't have time for the baloney out there that's thrown at us, and a lot of that is incorporated into some of the rules and regulations that are told that we can and cannot do. So we abide by that, but we also get around that because you guys have got to learn the real business. So guerrilla warfare is specifically for our agents and associates. So anybody in the Ferris group or anybody that I personally invite can take the guerrilla warfare training class, but it's really specifically for our agents. We're having that next Saturday at 10 o'clock. The Saturday after that, we're having that part 2. Then after that, we're going to break it up a little bit because, every Saturday is getting tough. So we'll probably start doing it every other week or maybe once a month. But after that, we have financial formulas class. We have residential guerrilla warfare. We have so many classes to training agents, and we'll probably get those going. And beyond the classes, guys, I am always available on my phone at any time, okay? And that right there is how I do a lot of the instruction for our agents. Michael Combs, who's not on today, India calls me all the time. Me and Mike have been on the phone many times going over things. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm very happy to do it. So this training also comes with the mentorship, and then Mike might not know how to do a contract. At this point in time, I'm willing to go over that with him and instruct him on that. There's a lot of things that's offered outside of these classes. So I hope that answers your question, Reggie. Anybody else?
I just want to say thank you for an informative session. This is Marty. I'm highly interested, highly motivated. I just wanted to say thanks. As far as your guerrilla warfare class, I start my my real estate in-class real estate courses actually next weekend during your sessions. So I wanted to know how I could get caught up on your sessions while I'm doing that.
Well, the sessions are going to be recorded. I'm sending this over to Frank Lelo, and I think Joel and Indira are going to start editing these things to turn it into something. So you might get that. And also, I'll be able to work with you on that. We'll figure it out.
Beautiful. Like I said, because I actually was going to start the course in July, but like I said, I'm motivated. The time is of the essence. So it was available, and I'm old school in class kind of guy. So I just went ahead and scheduled to start.
Okay, we'll work on that. The other thing is also, is Saturday convenient for everybody? Because I can switch this over to Friday. That's not a big deal. Let me know what works for everybody. I know a lot of people work during the week. This is why I have it on Saturday, but I would be able to do that.
If you go to Saturday every other week, it's probably better than every Saturday.
Every other week? Okay, so we can skip next week. I'd rather not.
We have to skip next week, but I'm just saying every week would be kind of tough, every Saturday.
We're not going to do every Saturday. I just wanted to get the guerrilla warfare classes out of the way. So I'll tell you what, Marty, don't worry about it. We'll stick to the next Saturday and the Saturday after that, and I'll work with you on that, Marty.
Okay, beautiful. Thank you, Benny. Greatly appreciated. Like I was saying, this course is every weekend for 3 weeks, so I can get my license and get rolling.
Yeah. Okay, well, get your license and get rolling. That's most important right now. So, all right.
Okay.
And I'll work with you on
Thank you.
it.
All right, Benny. Thank you. God bless you.
God bless you too.
I'm out.
All right, guys. Is that it?
That's it. Thank you, Benny. And a lot of people put their contact information in the chat. I noticed. So if anybody sees that, check your chat. You can get some of our contact information. Mine is in there as well. But Benny, thank you so much. That was very informative. I really enjoyed it.
All right, Joel. Thanks for turning up here.
Hey, Benny.
Yeah.
As I mentioned to you guys before, I really think it'd be great if you put together a directory with everyone's name, contact information, and function, so that we know how to take advantage of all of the various sub-organizations within the ecosystem.
Will do. I think Frank has that. Frank. And we have an update.
Yeah. I don't have an updated one, but I can get together with you. We'll bring it up to date and get it sent out.
Okay. Yeah, this way to all the mortgage brokers and everybody too. So we'll get everybody shares everybody's information here. You never know who we need. All right, we'll get that to you, Mike. Anything else?
Good job today. Good job today, Penny. This is very exciting, and I'm looking forward to 2020 as we get out of this silly virus thing and start to really crank things up. So.
Yeah. We're gonna crank it. So it's just about fun.
Have a good weekend, guys.
All right, guys. See you later. All right. Check it out.
All right, Benny.
All right, guys. I'm checking out. Anybody have anything else? Indira, you stayed awake for the whole thing?
Yeah, I spoke yesterday. That's good.
All right, good.
So are you going to email it to us, or?
What do you want me to email?
The video.
Yeah, Frank's going to handle that.
Okay.
Yeah, and in fact, you guys are going to do editing. I want to get up with you later.
Yeah.
Hold on, Winchell. Winchell, you still with us? I think he froze.
Kind of frozen.
Okay. Here's what I'm putting together for the agents. Vlogging.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
I've been watching I've been watching vlogging, Disney vlogging, these vloggers, and we're starting to associate with them, okay? I like what they're
Right.
doing, okay? So what I want to do is I want to take what they're doing and I want our agents to do it for their listings. So in other words, they get a fancy hotel. We do the same old thing. Here's the hotel,
Yeah.
here's photos, here's a drone. You guys like the drone view? You know, I want to take it to the vlogging level, and I want the agents to actually put together an exciting presentation. And I'm going to send you guys some links like Michael K.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have these as guest speakers, so this way they can come and start teaching us their skills of vlogging and editing. You guys are gonna
Yeah.
love that, and we're gonna
Okay.
take and work with them. The vlogging, as we collect clips of this training and whatever else we're doing, we're gonna put together a television show.
Nice.
Okay, so all of this is leading up towards a television show that I'm working on right now. So you guys, of course, are going to be the editors and all of that for this.
Okay.
Put this thing out. It's going to be like $1 million listings, but it's going to be even better because it's going to be commercial related. Not that we're saying no to residential in this, but that's already done. So we want to come and put together a TV show for commercial listing, commercial business. And
another thing what we can do right now with these videos that you're doing, like today's video, we can edit it. We can put it on a platform where it's like a course so that you don't ever have to do this again. Or if you want to, you can. But, and at the end, it's quantifiable. You can actually ask questions at the end and then, you know, print out a certificate, if you will, to make sure that your agents are properly trained. And they're actually watching and actually listening and answering the questions. So we can create a course and pretty much exactly what you did here just now is all you have to do.
Okay. There's a lot of things we're going to do. So,
okay.
But vlogging is almost, that's going to be immediate. And what I'll do, I'll send you, just write these names down. Are you ready?
Sure. Yep.
Michael K. K-A-Y.
K-A-Y, okay.
Justin Scared, Justin, and Scarred.
Okay.
Spokesman, and his name's Chris.
Chris, okay.
And for a different aspect of it all, what the heck's his name? I'll get this name for you in the look. So,
okay.
Now each one of these guys, they all vlog Disney. All right.
Okay.
They go in and they talk about the hotels, the parks, what's going on. They're Disney freaks, these guys. Okay.
Okay.
But I like what they do. And I'm thinking, if they're doing this for Disney, why can't we do the same thing for our listings, our more exciting listings? Nobody wants to look at a broken down, you know. So,
dirty, nasty.
Yeah, maybe they do. So we'll see how it goes. But some of our agents would be talented they'd have a great presentation too. And they'd be able to get on just like these guys do. Now, Justin goes off the deep end, but he's fun to watch.
Okay.
I can't imagine our agents doing anything like him, but maybe we can incorporate some of that fun stuff. Michael K is probably the one I'm looking at most.
Okay.
Okay, and Michael K. Yeah, and I'm thinking of having Michael K. and at least Michael K. do it. Michael K. is local. He's in Orlando doing a presentation for our agents.
Okay.
And that's what I want to. So here's what I figured. You agents, and remember you're an agent too.
Yeah.
When you go in to a hotel, what do you think? There's a few things you can offer that no other company is. One is, you know, Mr. whatever your name is that owns the hotel. We're able to get your hotel onto a vlog that's going to be seen by everybody. So it's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be on our website. Could very well be on TV because we're looking at that now. But nonetheless, we put together a very exciting presentation on your hotel if you list with us, okay? Yeah. Unlike any other. Then we can show them some, you know, some examples. Yeah, so maybe what we can do before that, maybe we can put together a quick mock vlog. So this way the agents can take that with them, Okay,
Yeah.
show them and say, this is what your hotel's gonna look like. What would really be nifty would be to get photos of the hotel and incorporate it into it. So there's,
Right, so they can see it. Yeah.
so we can do that. The other thing is seminars. When we put on investor seminars, which we're going to be doing shortly, we tell the people over there, the hotel owner, that your hotel is going to be presented in a seminar that's scheduled for June 30th of this month, if you list with us. So a lot of people are going to see this seminar. And by the way, our seminars, we haven't discussed this yet because it's going to be coming in guerrilla warfare training, or maybe down the road. The seminars are designed to bring people into a room pre-qualified, okay, 50 at a time maybe, and for maybe a handful of agents that want to accompany us and assist us on this seminar. But the seminar isn't just take the information and walk out the door. It's provide us all your information. So every single investor that comes in is going to be assigned to an agent. So now, once again, creating business.
Yeah.
Okay, so they come in, hey, this is great, we took the seminar, and by the way, here's Indira, and you're going to be working with her right now, and she's going to find you property. And now you've got that. So you might walk out of that with 10 potential investors, or 10 investors that are potentially going to buy something. So there's another thing. So you tell the sellers, and just so you know, we love buyers and we love sellers, but we really love sellers, okay? There's so many buyers out there. We're not worried about buyers. We want property to give to our buyers, and that's what we always try to do. We want to please the seller. We want to give them everything. So, but I'll work with you guys on that, and I think eventually, I want to work with you guys on my website. I know you're busy, and I haven't been speaking to you because you guys have been busy with all the Ferris stuff. But it's time to take that website to the next level. And I did talk. What's that?
The agent sites as well. There's several options we can do. Joel is actually setting up Ferris hosting. So we can have like a steps sheet, if you will. Step 1, purchase your domain name. Step 2, purchase your hosting. Step 3, pick one of these 3, templates, and we're gonna blow all of them out of the water. We're working with an agent to do her website. She's with I can't remember. Anyway, so that memorable. I can't remember her website. Yeah, and it's horrible to be such a big name. Her website is horrible. It's horrid. It's not effective, So we're redoing her website. But thinking with that in mind, we can pick 3 really effective templates for them to choose from, where we can disseminate information and it populates to all of them. So all of the agents will have their business cards with their domain name, but it's pulling Crest Core information. Obviously, it's going to have our listings there. So we can set up something like that. Yeah.
Let's do that. And by the way, make them a template that it's black and gold, the whole.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
it's well branded.
Yeah. And then what they can do is they can come in there. Now if the agents, this is the thing, we provide the agents a certain amount of promotional tools. It's on the house. Okay.
Yeah.
But they're going to come to you too for advanced stuff, flyers, websites. If they want a website, they got to come to you and work out whatever business arrangement that you guys do with them. We give them a lot of stuff on the house, but when it comes to advanced promotional stuff, they got it. You guys work that out. Okay.
Okay.
So,
I do believe though there should be, because you have the agents, we want to make sure that they are, if we have the templated websites, it's kind of always selling. So whether or not they are actually, I don't know how to explain it. It'll be to the best interest of Crest Core if we did allow them like a basic, or did have like a basic, they'll pay for their own hosting. They'll pay. Here's Joel, he's coming in. Regardless if they're active or not. We have to be in separate rooms because there's a loop when we're both on a conference call. So he has to be somewhere. So Joel, if you can come.
great point. Basically, what she's saying is regardless if they're active or inactive. Oh, hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, but regardless if they're active or inactive, right? It still sends to Crest Corp. So like what Indira and I used to do to get all those listings, and we got a lot of commercial requests, but we didn't know how to do commercial.
Yeah.
What we used to do was every time we got an address, we bought the domain name of the address. So if it's like the, Tampa building on 3rd Avenue, we would buy Tampa building on 3rd Avenue.com, right? Or something short or similar. And that listing, even when it's sold, if anybody looks for anything close to it, it always came up. And at the bottom, sold by Indira Seville, Century 21 Privet, funding by, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it just forever, it's up there, and it costs us $8 a year to keep it online. You see what I'm saying? That's it.
That's something that nobody knows about except for you guys.
No, we don't really talk about it. But it is, and that's why I was like, one of the first steps we want to do is make sure that, first of all, they got to buy their own domain names, right? But then we can leverage that because they'll be on our hosting, on our website, and everything falls back. So like when we sell them the templates, it's already branded Crest Corp. You know what I mean? It's just a couple of things we got to change to add them in there. But then after that, when they get a listing, we buy the address of that listing. Because if somebody's looking for a house to buy on Commercial Street or building to buy on Commercial Street, and we've got 3 listings on there, it may have been sold 3 years ago. It doesn't matter. It's still online. They're going to call us first because we already sold buildings on Commercial or Marketplace. You see what I'm saying? That's how it shows up. And it's free. We don't have to pay for it.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
all right. Well, let's put it together. Whenever you guys are ready, I try not to pest you because I know that you're all busy with all the Ferris stuff, but whenever you're ready, I'm ready to start working on the with you with the.
Yeah, we're ready now. I mean, there was a lot of ironing things out in the beginning. You know, we just started with Ferris in December, and it was a huge workload. And we were the only ones to really be able to assess how huge it was, and then we had to explain that to them. So now we're all on the same page, so it's good. But we're ready. I'm excited about this. I really am. And Indira got her license in December, and so there's a lot of things going on. We're really excited to move this part of it. This was always our passion: the real estate, the marketing, and the mortgage side. We made a lot of money doing it, and it's fun. Yeah, I was the mortgage guy, and she was the realtor, so it was good. So we're excited.
Huh?
I said we're excited. Hold on, Indira wants to talk. It was good talking to you, babe. That was great, by the way.
You like that? All right.
Hold on.
All right.
Okay. Good enough. If you feel like it at your leisure, you want to look at the. I think Joe's already an administrator on my website, so he can get in there.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I guess, and I have 2 websites, by the way. One of them's one that I put together through GoDaddy.
Okay.
Joe can get in. The other one is the heck is it? Oh, CrestCoreHomes.com.
Okay.
And CrestCoreQualityHomes.com. It goes straight to the same site.
Okay.
That one I bought from a company. They put it together. It's kind of a generic site. It serves its purpose.
Okay.
I don't know if you're able to get in there and play with that at all, but it is time. And I'll tell you. And then once you're done with looking at that, we'll get back together, and I'll tell you. We'll go back.
Okay.
To what we can do.
So regarding any changes that you want immediately, if you can just email bullet points and we can attack it. Anything that we see that we can change, or we'll initiate communication. We'll let you know, like maybe we should do this, and that.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do
I
that.
haven't looked at it in a while, so I got to check.
Okay.
I'll take a look and see what we can do, and then I'll get back with you on that.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Today was very informative.
Yeah, I know. This is going to be fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one.
Okay, good. Well, next Saturday then. Everybody agreed?
Yep.
Majority rules.
It works.
All right, good.
All right.
I will see you next meeting.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.